Good afternoon, evening. Welcome to the
Episode 7.
Podcast. Episode 7. We made it.
We have made it.
Episode 7.
I did not die last week.
Well,
I know you told everybody I had explosive diarrhea.
Well, that wasn't a lie. Like, that was the real deal.
No.
I mean, I think I heard that you would shit your pants.
No, that did not happen.
Okay, that didn't happen.
I did not want to ruin your nice carpet and new chairs.
This is the most expensive free carpet on the planet. So that's very exciting.
No, but I do want to thank Drew for filling in for me last week. He did a piss poor job. I mean, fantastic job filling in for me last week. He only sounded like a bumbling idiot once or 20 times. So
I would say twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. I thought he did a really good job. What do you think, Andrew?
Thanks, Ben, for that nice compliment.
Look, he's even talking more than one word.
I know. Oh. That's what amazed me last week. Whenever you told me he was going to fill in for me, I'm like, oh, so you're going to talk the whole time, and Drew's going to sit over and go, yes.
He did more talking than I expected.
Yeah. I was impressed. Yeah, great job last week, and great insight on your topics last week. So I'm pleasantly pleased.
Shockingly, we had a lot of views last week on the show. So
maybe I should leave and Drew should sit in.
I mean, if the analytics tell us anything.
So maybe next week Drew will sit where you're at and I'll sit here and then we'll see what gets more views.
I mean, you never know, right? Never know till you try.
That is true.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely.
So this week, episode 7, we're going to go over traveling with kids.
Okay, that's awesome.
And we're going to do the cheap or moderately priced beverage off.
Yes, I gotta say, I don't know, I'm sure you saw, and you mentioned a few times in his comments, about, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we put up, hey, tell us all the cheap beers. There was an absurd amount of comments that we got back on that Facebook post. It was great. We do appreciate all the feedback we got on it. We have a few of them tonight. B&H Market was kind enough to sponsor tonight's cheap beer off. And they gave us, 4 22s and one big boy or something?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. I don't even know if you can,
I don't know how somebody could drink all of that personally, but I don't know. We'll see. So B&H, thank you again for sponsoring that.
I'm a little upset, though. They didn't give us any brown bags. I feel like when you're drinking a 22 ounce, you should have a brown bag.
But then we can't show it off.
That is true.
If it's in a brown bag.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Maybe that's what they should do when they sell them. You get a free brown bag.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, look into that. You need brown bags.
Yeah. Joe should figure that out. That's a good one. I mean, I gave him some good ideas a few weeks ago that we're not going to discuss here.
No.
And I think he's going to run with them. So I'm pretty excited.
I doubt it, but yeah.
Well, I have confidence. That'll be pretty exciting.
That will be.
A couple quick things before we start. Follow us on YouTube. We did set up, and we have a lot of things on Instagram now. So it's Bod Podcast. Be sure to do that. The podcast is live lately by tonight, just depending on the internet speeds and stuff. So last week we did have it up by 9 o'clock, which was great.
Right.
So when you subscribe to the podcast, Google Play, Apple iTunes, anything like that, it is fully live and ready to go, usually by Monday morning at the latest. So we are excited about that. So
well, that's great. Let's hit our intro and
let's get started.
Absolutely.
And then Amanda will alert us when we're...
Hold up.
Go down to the next page.
All right. That was an awesome intro yet again.
That was fantastic. Whoever put that together needs a round of applause that they're never going to get.
Man, I'm telling you. It's phenomenal.
That is wonderful.
So this is a new segment we have, right?
This is a new segment.
Beginning.
So I thought about this long and not hard, and one of our very first...
Thank you for clarifying.
One of our very first podcasts, Andy called out B&H Market and told them to get off their ass.
I gotta say...
It worked.
What happened?
It worked. Ironically, they're now an amazing sponsor of ours.
They are.
And we appreciate everything.
Yep, they did a great job.
So now we're going to do the Get Off Your Ass Call-Out segment.
Okay, I like that. That's nice.
It is beautiful.
So is that my idea then?
It's your idea, and then I don't know if I piggybacked off your idea or if I just stole your idea or how it works.
Either way, it's fine.
I think we got collaboration.
Yeah.
That's what we'll go
That's
with,
good.
collaboration.
I would agree.
Beautiful thing.
Nail it. Good job,
So,
Ben.
since you started the Get Off Your Ass,
Okay.
I think you should do the first official Get Off Your Ass.
So, one of the people that we have randomly spoken about on this podcast is Tim Allen. Not the random Tim Allen that lives in Robertsville. Like, not that guy or the one that lives in Washington, D.C. The Tim Allen that lives in Michigan and does all the Pure Michigan commercials, and his Last Man Standing show is coming back to Fox.
Yeah, Fox.
Last Man
September
Standing,
29th?
something like that. See,
Yeah.
we're even giving him a free plug right now, which will get him a lot of views.
September 28th.
So our goal is to get Tim Allen off his ass into our podcast live and in studio.
So tell him right now.
Tim Allen, get off your ass and get to our podcast.
Absolutely. Get
Yes.
off your ass, Tim Allen.
Yes.
Tired-
We need to have like some kind of stinger that like comes across as "get off your ass," like something like that.
A little banner, maybe.
Yeah,
across
wouldn't
the
that be
bottom.
awesome?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll make a banner for the "Get Off Your Ass" segment.
And then, yeah, I think, hey, Tim Allen has his own Facebook page. All of our listeners, the millions
Yeah.
and thousands of you, get
Share
on there,
this.
share it, tell them, get off your ass, Tim Allen, and get to Andy's basement.
Yeah, absolutely. Why
Nothing
wouldn't
weird
you?
about that.
No, we're not going to ask him to get naked.
We're not.
Maybe. It depends.
No nakedness.
No, but that's awesome. So every week, I would assume we're going to have some get off your ass person that we're going to talk about.
Person, company.
Yeah, Tim Allen is going to be the running one until he shows up.
Wow. We'll include Tim Allen on the Get Off Your Ass segment until...
But he's always going to be a part of it.
He's always going to be a part
Yes.
of it. I think even when he shows up, he's going to be a part of it.
Yeah. And then we also need a vaping company to get off your ass.
No, we're not vaping on this show,
We're
ever.
still not vaping.
Why can't vaping be a segment?
No.
It'll
vaping.
never be a segment.
We're going to work on that. I got this going.
You got this going. You got your Get Off Your Ass segment. But
There we
however,
go.
I don't think we'll
Yeah.
ever get a vaping segment.
We're not going to work on it, actually.
Oh, well.
EP
We'll
says
try.
no.
We'll try. The executive producer is in charge.
She is in charge.
If I just randomly picked up a vape and started vaping, I mean, what are you going to do? Leave the podcast?
Amanda will immediately stop the stream and we'll push you out. Drew will sit in and
Is that how that works?
I don't know.
Amanda, is that how it works?
That could be how it works.
Okay. Well, anyway, we'll give it a shot.
Let's roll on.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Very cool. So what's our first topic tonight, Ben?
Traveling with kids.
Nice.
So I sent you a meme about this a couple days ago about how to remember when your kid's in the car. You leave your second beer in their cup holder so that you have to go get theirs.
That is, I mean, I did laugh pretty hard at that. I LOL'd.
You
a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't throw shade.
So look, last week you got the kid lingo. I understand, but we're not going to kid lingo it this week.
Right. And we never leave Drew in the car.
No. Well,
No.
We can crack a window for Drew though.
Okay. That's a good point. I appreciate that.
He's 15 at this point.
Yeah.
I can't
No
wait
big
till he
deal.
turns 6 and he can start driving us around.
That would be great. Hey, come pick us up from the bar.
Yeah. Hey, Drew, get off your ass and come pick us up.
Maybe that should be one of the next segments.
His birthday segment will be a get off your ass segment as well.
That's a good one. He won't be here, but we'll just trash him
Absolutely.
on our podcast. Awesome.
So,
Moving on.
the traveling with kids. As dads, we start to travel more. I feel anyway. We start to travel more, and I guess maybe you travel as much as you did, but you start paying attention more because you have more things to think about, more things to worry about, more things to get ready, more things to be prepared for. So one of the first things, and I did a lot of research on this and looked at a lot of different blogs, a lot of different vlogs, all women related, but I kind of tailored it to us. And one thing was constantly badgering men about how impatient they are.
Wow. I'm not impatient at all.
Have you met yourself?
Yeah, I'm not new.
Okay.
You're not new to you. But
I'm getting a little impatient right now.
yeah. So what a lot of women said was just men in general are impatient when it comes to traveling. It's get in the car, hurry up, let's go. So they feel like they're forgetting stuff. So I think our number one thing that we need to tell men in general is be patient.
Okay.
It takes you a little longer now when you have children to get ready, to get things going, to get in the car. And I still do it with my wife. I'm like, why are you still doing your hair? And she's like, well, because I had to get the kid dressed, I had to get the kid's hair done, the kid's teeth brushed. So now, 2 minutes ago, I started getting myself ready. Sorry.
Yeah. I could see how that could be frustrating.
It is frustrating from both sides, though. Like, as men, we're like, come on, let's go. I was ready. I showered, shaved, put on my clothes, and I'm ready to go.
And that only took like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Now, what the hell? We're an hour deep, and you're just now getting ready? Let's go.
Hey, we're supposed to leave at like noon, and it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It does.
And then an argument starts.
Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah, that's terrible.
So something also to remember is that you got to be prepared your trip's going to take longer. Whether it's I tailored everything in this segment mostly about car riding.
Okay.
Flights you guys covered a little bit last week, so we'll cover a little bit this week about flights and stuff. But I tailored most of this to car riding. So you got to remember everything's going to take longer.
Yes.
Kids have small bladders.
Really?
So you're going to have to stop multiple times.
Just don't feed them or give them water.
Yeah, well, neglect, whatever. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I would do that, but, I mean, that would definitely prevent those issues.
Right, or just don't bring your kid, right? Put them in the closet, you and your wife go, or you and your significant other go.
That's probably frowned upon.
But feeding and not feeding...
Well, better regulation during a trip could also prevent some of those stops.
This is true.
Yes. Not starving a child, because that's obviously frowned upon, but also regulating that a little bit more than normal could probably get away with that a little bit. I do that for myself. Like, when we go to Michigan, the last stop we make on the way home is Chicago. And we don't stop again. Not for anything.
Wait, that's the only stop we make?
That's the only stop. We make it from Detroit to Chicago. Stop, pee, whatever, and then now if we had a kid in the car, that would be probably different.
Oh yeah,
but I regulate my intake, so that way I don't drink anything all the way to Chicago, and then I have a little bit all the way through the ride home, and then you don't have to stop again because you don't have to pee.
So regulating a kid is a little different than regulating a
look. I'm not saying it's not easy or it's easy or whatever, but that can also probably assist with that a little bit. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say.
No, I get you.
I mean, you don't have to yell at me about it, but.
I'm not yelling yet. Damn it, Andy! The fact that you're talking about regulating when you're the one that has to bail in the middle of a podcast to go take a pee, and how we have to have pre-production notes for you to go potty before.
All right, look, we already discussed that older gentlemen, such as myself, at 37, sometimes that happens to older gentlemen.
Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't done it since.
No, you haven't.
That was a big mistake on my part. And I could not be more apologetic.
Well, we got your depends now, so
yep,
you're good.
I'm going right now. All right, let's move on. So you said it'll take longer, right?
It'll take longer. So kids in there, they're going to want to eat, and they want to get out and stretch, and they won't want to feel cramped.
Right. Yeah.
And it's going to take a little bit longer. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for the fact that you're going to spend an extra, probably hour in a trip, maybe even 2 hours, depending on how long your trip is, for those things.
Yeah, managing those things and changing diapers if they got to get out and use the bathroom. Yeah, absolutely. It is going to take. I remember as a kid traveling with my folks, I've always had some bathroom issues, I guess you could call it, over the years. And we had to stop a lot. Because the second, we'd leave a rest stop and I'd just use the bathroom, I'd always have to go again. And I don't know if that's some weird childhood issue in my head or whatever, but yeah, I used to have a lot of those issues as a kid, and it did not make my parents very happy.
And now you have every time we walk into a retail store, you have to use the bathroom, which doesn't make your wife happy.
You know what's shocking about that, though? At work, that doesn't happen. But yet, if we walk into a Costco, under 5 minutes, I have to use the bathroom. And I could have used the bathroom 20 minutes before that, It's the weirdest thing. Best Buy, Walmart, wherever we are. It's within 5 minutes every single time.
I'm pretty sure Andy could write a book about the retail bathrooms across the U.S.
That's what I was going to say. Is he just doing like some research and development for
it seems
Bed Bath & Beyond?
Yeah.
Is like,
R&D.
hey, I'm going to go in and see every bathroom to see what they've got. Do
Sure.
they have those Airblade dryers or do they have the paper towels?
Yeah, those do happen at Costco.
Yeah.
You have the Airblade Dyson dryers.
Yeah.
They're pretty awesome.
So does Sam's. I
Yeah.
hate those things.
I hate Sam's, though. Sam's, do not get off your ass. All right. So you said always pack for the occasion, right?
Always pack for the occasion. So snacks and drinks, definitely something you need to pack.
Yep.
Because you don't want to have to stop at the gas station every 5 minutes. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry.
And
I'm
it's so
thirsty.
expensive. Like,
It
it's
is.
better to probably prep in advance for that, right?
Absolutely.
Celery sticks, ants on a log.
Ants on a log. I haven't had ants on a log in a long time.
Man, I would die for an ants on a log right now. I hope everybody knows. If you don't know what that is, it's celery with peanut butter, and then you put little raisins, and it looks like little ants on a log.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Oh my god, it is.
I think
This
after
glass is too heavy, by the way.
after this, we're going to the local market, B&H, and grabbing some celery.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, we're going to make some ants on a log.
Maybe they could drop some off in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah. Hey, somebody, B&H, come up and bring us some ants on a log.
There you go.
But something that I noted in there is to avoid heavily sugared snacks and drinks.
That's a really good point.
So you don't want your kid to be all hopped up in the back of the car, bouncing off the car seat or in the seat belt. I want to get out. I want to go. Plus, once you get there, they're going to be all hopped up, and you're just drove for however many hours. You're like, just shut up.
Right.
I want to stretch for a second. I want to relax for a second.
Right.
And they're ready to go. So something to do is just avoid those heavily sugared snacks and drinks, as best as possible. It helps keep your kids under control in the car and when you get to where you're going.
So that's a very valid point. Because the other thing, too, you figure back in the day, I didn't have to sit in a car seat. And I could just run around the car. Like, you could do that in a station wagon or whatever you drove. It wasn't that big of a deal. Now a child has to be confined to a car seat. And that's got to be rough. Sitting in a car seat for, like, even 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, like, that's got to be a rough thing for a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and you should not forego that to let them run around in the car because you never know what's going to happen. But, yeah, getting out, stopping, letting them run around a little bit, yeah, that's going to definitely add a lot of time. So I'm assuming in the future when we get foster children or adopt, our 9-hour trip to Michigan is going to take 11 or 12 due to that additional stops, running around, letting them tire out, all those kind of things. When you did read, though, some of the blogs that you did go over, was there anything about leaving late at night so that way it hits their sleep pattern?
So
that way they sleep through the majority of the trip? Because if they normally go to bed at 8:30 and you leave at 8:30, that's normally their body figuring it out.
Right.
Is there anything regarding...
But when do you go to sleep?
8:30.
Okay. So you're gonna want to get up and drive in the middle of your normal sleep.
We
cycle
always
and
do
time
that, though. We always drive overnight.
to avoid traffic and everything. But you get tired out too, and that's what.
Well, we flip
things. And you're right. I did look this up, and that was one of the things. It's like if you can, if your significant other can hang out with the kids, watch the kids or whatever, and then you take a nap. Whoever's going to drive the first leg, take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
And then start out late at night, and then the significant other can take a nap in the car. You guys can switch so that the kids do sleep through the majority or the duration of the drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely a great thing to do, but that doesn't always work. And like, for instance, my wife goes to Kansas City quite often to visit her dad.
Okay.
So that's now that we have her, it's about a 4.5 hour ride. And sometimes she goes by herself, so that's not an option for her, is to leave or anything like that late at night.
But we've done that for years. Like even when we lived in Jersey, and even when we would pick up Drew and Amy when they were younger, we always tried to do it overnight. We like overnight driving better because there is less traffic. There's a lot of benefits to doing the overnight driving, but that's just kind of been our thing for years. And then you will usually arrive there 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, depending on kind of where you're going or how long it took. And then we would take a quick nap, and then we'd be all set to go.
Yeah.
And again, with a child, that kind of adds a few wrinkles to that. However, having them sleep during that time, I would assume would be potentially tremendously beneficial.
I think younger kids sleep better in cars than older kids because it's not necessarily a comfortable thing sitting in a car seat.
Agreed.
Like my daughter sits in a car seat now with that 3-point, 4-point harness on, and it just doesn't look comfortable. Like when she passes out, when she falls asleep in the car, she just does not look comfortable.
No.
And I don't see her sleeping for a whole duration of a trip because of that.
Right.
But
I would agree with that, absolutely.
So another thing that was highlighted was clothing. Making sure that you have the appropriate clothing packed. Making packs.
I'm an overpacker. Amanda's an underpacker.
She's an underpacker?
Yep.
So she forgets things, but you bring them in.
She went to New York for 3 days and just took a tiny bag.
So
it's not that I forget stuff. I just literally plan out my days.
Right.
So I only pack what I need, which was super funny. I took a tiny bag, and my roommate took a gigantic haul a dead person around in it suitcase, and we were there for the exact same amount of time.
So I feel like sometimes when we go to Sam's on like a weekend day, my wife will pack a suitcase just to go to Sam's, but then she'll forget the list.
Right.
So you pack everything that we don't need for this whole trip, but yet you forgot the list, the only thing that we do need.
Uh-huh.
So, sorry, babe. By the way, if you're watching, listening, I probably just got a text right now that yelling at me. Quit telling everybody about this. But that's the truth. They pack for different occasions. So just make sure that you pack for what's needed. Extra jackets, hats, gloves, wherever you're going, destination-wise. Another thing.
But to that point, really quick, sorry to cut you off, but it's also ensuring the weather of where you're going.
Right.
Like, we've screwed that up before. Like, I remember a few years ago when we went to Texas for Amanda's brother's graduation from the military. In Michigan, for some weird reason, in March, was really warm. We were like, well, this is great. And then we brought, like, pants, short-sleeve shirts. We didn't bring any jackets. And it was like 30 degrees in Texas. Like, it was so retarded.
Yeah,
like, we could have...
I got really sick.
Yeah, you did, too, because we sat outside for like 8 hours watching her
rain.
graduate, which was awesome. And we were freezing. Like, again, with a child, check the weather where you're going. Because no matter, even if you're going south, that could easily be a much different weather story than you would normally be accustomed to.
But I think part of what I was saying there, too, is make sure you pack for every occasion.
Yes.
So, as some people do, they look at the weather, like you were saying, and they're like, oh, it's going to be 65 degrees and sunny and beautiful out.
Yep.
And then you get there, and it's 30 degrees and raining and miserable, and you have nothing, and you're not prepared for any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I always do this, is I always pack just an extra little bag on the side with a jacket, a rain jacket, make sure that we have an umbrella, wherever we're going. Like when we go to the zoo, I make sure we have an umbrella, stuff like that, just to make sure.
Well, when we drive to Michigan, my entire trunk is full.
Yeah.
For absolutely no reason at all. Like, it's unbelievable. We flew a few months ago to Michigan, and Amanda's like, wait, we can't bring 8,000 things with us? I was like, no, unfortunately we can't. But with a child, like, you are going to have those extra things because you never know. They could soil their clothes that they're in. They could throw up all over them. Weather could be significantly different. Like, those are huge things that you want to keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah. So, when you're flying with children, TSA actually has a list, and I looked this up. TSA has a list of things that you can bring.
Really?
Because you can't bring liquids and stuff like that through, but mothers who are nursing can bring breast milk through in sealed bags. You just can't bring waters and stuff like that through. You can buy them obviously on the other side of the gate, but you can bring in breast milk and stuff like that.
Wow.
So when you're going to the airport with children, younger children, you might want to take a little bit of extra time to make sure you can check through and go through with that stuff.
Awesome.
But they will allow that.
Very cool. Very nice.
Something else that we mentioned was toys.
Okay.
Making sure that your children are stimulated during the ride. Car games, if they're old enough to play car games, stuffed animals. Like my daughter will not go anywhere overnight without her stuffies, as she calls them. I need my stuffies, which are typically a little stuffed lamb, which she calls Lammy, and a hippo.
Yep.
She loves hippos for whatever reason.
All right.
Which she calls puddles.
Wow.
She's
got a lot of nicknames. But I know. I'm not crying about it, but I'm just saying, like, those things can have a profound effect.
It does.
Like, I would probably be a CEO of a company if they hadn't done that.
Well, I don't know about that, but it is a security measure. It's a security item for children.
Yeah.
You know, and Drew, you're here tonight. Do you have something when you were a child that you used to cling to and hang on with? Or do you still, like your Xbox, you hang on to it and cling to it?
He sleeps
with his Xbox.
With his Xbox, he spoons it.
I used to have a blanket, like how my dad said. Yeah, I had kind of like a blanket. I don't think I really called it anything, but...
You didn't call it the Go-Go?
No.
Andy tried really hard to get him to call it the Go-Go, though.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah. And I think that was your mom thing, because she brought it up recently and said that all of you had one.
We did. All of us did. My brother had a knot in his, and he would rub it on his ribs at night when he would try to fall asleep. I don't know if I needed to tell anybody that, but it was really awkward.
Which one?
Matt or Ben, I think. I don't remember.
I can see that.
But it's really strange. But those type of things, like, kids have them, and they make them feel... And if it makes a kid feel comfortable, then why not? Like, It's not that big of a deal. But to your point, which is very valid, if you forget that stuff, you are shit out of luck.
Yeah, you're in for a world of hurt.
Like, that is, like, world-ending type of shit.
Oh, yeah. So we used to let my daughter, take her animals and blankets. She has a blanket, too. It's a Valentine's Day blanket. We used to let her take it to daycare, and she forgot it there one night, and I don't know how we got her to sleep. Yeah. She was throwing a fit, running through the house looking for this thing, and I'm like, I really think we forgot it at daycare, so now we don't let her take it anymore.
Right.
But yeah, that was tough for her.
I bet. Yeah.
It was her security blanket, her favorite item. So make sure that you're packing those things, and make sure that they're in the car so that you have those.
Yep.
So another topic that I explored was activity ideas.
Okay.
One thing that I really found interesting in a few of the articles I read was give your kid a camera.
Okay.
Even if it's a disposable camera or, just
they
a
still
cheap...
make those?
Yeah. You can still get film developed at Walmart, Walgreens.
Who does that?
They're out there.
Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing still.
It's a thing still.
Well, we used to give Amy and Drew a camera, and they would just take pictures up their nose. Is that...
He still does that now. I think I saw him a while ago with his iPhone taking a picture up his nose.
Probably.
But make sure that you give them a camera so that you can capture the trip from their perspective.
And it's like a job for them, too, because then they get involved in interaction and all that kind of stuff.
It gives you an idea of what they find interesting, too.
Yep.
So that was something I read is so you can plan your next trip around what they find interesting because you got pictures of what they found interesting on their first trip.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, so in another article I read was have them journal. Have them write a journal out of things that excited them, things that they saw, things that they liked.
That's interesting.
Things that they didn't like. Mom and Dad drugged me through this. I hated every second of it that I was there, but then we went here for whatever, ice cream or this or that, and it was amazing. It was awesome.
Huh. That's a great idea. I never would have thought of that.
But it also gives you something to put together for when they're older, too.
Right.
Because I don't remember all the trips I took when I was a kid.
Right.
But if I'd have had a camera and documented those trips, or if I'd have journaled those trips, that'd have been something neat to look back on and be like, oh, wow, you know what? When I was a kid, I really enjoyed this. Maybe I'll take my daughter here and I can share with her and I'd be like, hey, when I was a kid, Daddy went here and these were the things that I liked.
Sure. That would be awesome. I think that's also something... it's funny, we always joke that the only time parents have a ridiculous amount of video and a ridiculous amount of pictures of their kids is when they're unfortunately murdered and on Dateline. Because if you look, right, like every kid or adult that has those stories on Dateline, there's always a ton of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any of that as a kid. And it's not disappointing, but you do look back and you're like, gosh, I wish I had something to remember that by, or I wish there was pictures for that. Because it is something good for a kid to be able to look back, but it's also even better if I could say, hey, Drew, here's what we did 20 years ago or whatever. Here was our trip, or here was our thing that we took. But I would also say Amanda and I, unfortunately, we forget that a lot. Like, we have a really good camera upstairs that literally sits in the kitchen island, and it rarely leaves because we always forget we should have taken it today when we went to the river. Like,
right.
We never, ever remember to document our stuff, and that is such an extremely good point to make sure that you document it, because that's a big deal.
Well, I think a lot of people now get so complacent about cameras because we have them on our phones.
Mm-hmm.
So, to your point, a while ago, you were like, they still have those?
Right.
Well, yeah, they still have disposable cameras. They still have the little, click cameras. I think there's Polaroid's coming out with a new Polaroid camera, which is kind of interesting to me. It's
kind of cool.
Polaroid's been making a comeback for the last couple of years.
Don't call it a comeback.
They have tons of cute little cameras, and they have cameras now that you don't have to have the printer on the side. It's all one. I feel like they're a really big deal for kids right now.
Yeah, that's huge.
But if the nice thing about, and why I mentioned a disposable camera, is because you limit what the kid can take a picture of, right? So it's something that they're really excited about. It's something that really interests them, and that's why they're going to take a picture of it. Because you can look at them and say, hey, you've got 32 pictures to take, and that's it.
Yep.
So when you go with like, hey, I've got this, nice camera that you can take 152 pictures, you're going to get pictures of up the nose and eyeballs and stuff like that. But when you tell a kid, hey, I want you to take a picture of what interests you, you've only got 32 pictures to take.
Yep. That's a great idea.
It limits what they find interesting, and then you really find out what's interesting to your child.
Sure. Absolutely. I would agree with that. That's a great idea.
Something that we take with us is the Kindle Fire or an iPad. Any kind of electronic device, but what I always tell everybody is to limit that to when it's dark outside. When your kid can't look out the window and see the sights and see different things. When it's dark outside and all you see is lights going by and stuff like that, limit it to that time.
Sure. That's a great
let
idea.
them see the sights. Let them see the
giant ball of yarn.
The giant ball of yarn. The giant Superman.
There's a place not far from here, right, babe? Is it in Illinois that has... Remember our neighbor's dad stopped there on his way home, and they have a giant mailbox and rocking chair and...
Yes.
Remember that?
It is.
I feel
remember
like
what it's
Branson
called,
has
but
a giant rocking chair. I know they have a giant
Something like
Indian
that.
statue.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough. Did you hit the explicit button when we started?
I will on the upload.
Okay, so weirdly enough, when you look at the Indian on one way, it looks like he's got a penis.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't want us to say penis today.
Dick, cock, whatever you want to say.
Balls.
But weirdly enough, when you look at this Indian from one direction, it looks like he's got a penis. But if you look at it from the other direction,
it's his hand. If you're going to talk like that, we can't have you on the podcast.
But those are things that you don't want your child to miss out on. I want my child to miss out on the penis of the Indian, but you don't want your child to miss out on the giant ball of yarn.
Right.
Just interesting stuff like
vacation.
Right. So the Cadillac Ranch is what Amanda just pulled up, where there are just Cadillacs buried in the dirt.
I've seen
and people spray paint on them and stuff like that. That is something neat and interesting that you may only get to see once in your life.
That's phenomenal. If you go past any monuments, anything like that, that's great. We have, and we don't do it unfortunately much anymore, but anytime you see the roadside sign that says go here to see this or go here to see that, we used to do a lot of that. And really, there's also some kind of, hey babe, if you look up in Nebraska or Iowa, wall drugs, I think is what it's called. Drugs. So, I'm not kidding you. So this place, I guess, is supposed to be amazing. South Dakota. So, you drive, if you're 100 miles away from this thing, there are signs every 20 feet that says, what is Wall Drugs? Who is Wall Drugs? It's one of those things where if your kids saw it, they'd be like, we gotta go there, we gotta go there, we gotta go there. And then you get there, I would guess it's amazing. I fortunately never went there or whatever, but it's one of those things where they advertise it all over the place. You pull off the side of the road. Near there's a corn museum. There's all this crazy stuff. But to your point,
there was a T-Rex coming out of that thing. I want to go to Wall Drugs. Now.
That place is supposed to be unbelievable.
What are you doing next weekend?
I guess we're going to Wall Drugs.
Let's go.
I'll tag them in the post and maybe we can get free tickets or something.
Live podcast, live stream from Wall Drugs.
Right. But again, to your point, which is very valid, is having your kid experience those things. They could use their camera to take some pictures while they're there, journal about it, whatever. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a little roadside museum on the way to Colorado from Missouri. It was in Kansas. I believe it was in Kansas.
Did you get any edibles while you were in Colorado?
No.
Oh.
That was recently. The gentleman had passed away, and they closed it down. But he had. It was an oddity museum, is what it was.
Okay.
It was like you could climb up to the tower, and you felt like you needed to be harnessed in to climb up this tower.
Wow.
But you could see 5 states from there, and
holy cow!
There was a pile of bones that were probably like a cow had died, and he just threw these bones in the corner. But this was like a T-Rex pile of bones.
Huh.
It was just an oddity museum, but it was something different, something kitschy.
Yeah.
Something that you wouldn't normally see.
Right.
And those are things that you should not miss out on as a kid.
Yep. I would agree.
And as an adult even.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids are riding a jackalope at Wall Drug. Now I definitely want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. We should go.
Yep.
But on the iPad thing, on the electronic device thing, limit it to the night. Make sure that you have headphones because there's nothing you want to hear more than a kid's TV show.
Right.
Bluetooth headphones if possible, wired-in headphoons, whatever the case may be. But make sure you bring headphones.
Probably wired so they don't die.
Yeah, wired so that they don't die. Not the kids, but the headphones.
That is obviously what I meant. But then
yeah.
I'm sorry, but you had kid safety next.
Yeah, kid safety next.
What is the GPS device for your kid? Like you can buy something that clips onto them or something?
So there's multiple things out there. There's the tag, which is a small little, looks like a tag that you would put on clothing or whatever. I've seen it to where they put it on a keychain.
Okay.
And then clipped it to the kid's belt loop.
Like a carabiner?
Like a little carabiner, clipped it to the kid's
like a janitor's
belt loop.
set of keys.
Yeah, so that they could keep track of the kids. They make a watch now where you can track your child from the watch, and also the watch will let you dial out one number, and just like your Apple Watch, just like my Apple Watch, whatever, that you can dial out one number to, and you can actually call or you can get a GPS signal from. But those are something. Nowadays, there's just too many things that happen. Kids go missing.
Right.
And I say nowadays, but that's been going on for years.
Right.
Kids go missing. So have that safety feature in mind.
Yep.
Another point that I brought up was meeting spots. When you're in an amusement park or something like that, designate a meeting spot. If you get separated from the group, hey, we walked in at this gate, or hey...
Wow.
It's Six Flags, hey, we're going to meet at the fountain or the Batman ride or whatever that case may be. But designate a meeting spot.
That didn't really work out.
No, your Goose Island pour was terrible there.
Yeah, but what the hell happened? It wasn't even shook. And it exploded.
I have no idea.
No, but your point, that's really good. Meeting spots. I like to take a picture of your kid every day.
Right.
So that's huge. I don't understand the brand your child, though. Like, is that one of those hot irons?
So 2 things on what you just talked about. The take a picture of your child every day. The take a picture of your child every day is important because you actually have a picture of what your child is wearing that day.
Yep.
And a most current and recent photo of your child.
Because the other thing, too, on that is when people kidnap the kid, if that happens, it's highly likely they change clothes but not shoes.
Right.
So it's also a good idea to have the full body shot, including
100%
shoes.
full body shot.
Because nobody carries shoes. They just carry a few clothes, change clothes, then they don't recognize the kid. So
right. So the brand your child. Brand your child is you take a marker. If you have a Sharpie, take a Sharpie, whatever the case may be, and on the inside of the arm, just write your phone number. Write your phone number, write your name.
Or amandymedia.com.
amandymedia.com. Write your phone number, write your name on the inside of your child's arm. Not your child's name.
Yep.
But your name and your phone number.
Okay.
And that way, if the child gets lost and somebody finds your child, your name and phone number is right there so that they can call you if somebody finds your child.
Drew.
If you don't have a Sharpie or a permanent marker, you can also take clear nail polish, write it on with marker, take clear nail polish and run clear nail polish over the top of it so that it becomes waterproof.
It can't be washed off.
It can't be washed off. It'd be harder to get washed off. So that your kid's going to sweat, or if you're in an amusement park, they might get wet, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
It's not going to come off.
And somebody couldn't just wipe it off then.
Somebody couldn't just wipe it off. But I mean, if your kid's, unfortunately, we have to talk about it. Your kid's going to get abducted. They're not going to call the phone number. But if your kid's just missing and they go to somebody, park security or whoever.
Yep.
You can tell them they can see.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, phone number.
For sure.
The number one thing is just make sure you don't write your child's name on it, so that somebody across the room can't see the name on there. Be like, "Hey, Drew, come over here. I know your mommy and daddy."
He's fallen for that too many times.
I know he is. Hey, Drew, I've got free Wi-Fi and Fortnite in my van. Come on over.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
And then would you go in that van?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Hey, we have Fortnite and Wi-Fi. Can you get in?
So I feel like even though this goes away from the kid topic, adults also can use that. I was in New York City one time by myself for a job interview. This was a while ago, and we lived on the East Coast. And I went into Starbucks and got a coffee. And, of course, they always write your name on the cup. And then I had this super creepy guy that was looking for money come up to me and say, "Hey, Amanda, can you help me out? I really need some help." And it freaked me out because it was when we first moved there. I'm from the Midwest, not used to that kind of thing. And from then on, anytime I got Starbucks in the city, I didn't give them my actual name. But when I was there just a week and a half ago with some people from work, I told them that story and was like, "Hey, you just never know what's going to happen." And being a female all by yourself, sometimes that kind of stuff can get really scary too. So going back to the whole name thing, like I'm a firm believer in not monogramming your name on every single thing you own, and I know that's a really big deal for some parents, but I just don't feel like it's the right move.
No, it's not.
Well, I still remember when your mom got Drew a sweatshirt for the Red Wings, and it has his name Drew on it, and we never let him wear it. Like, he wore it in the house and random things, but outside of the house, we never let him wear that sweatshirt.
Can I tell you that was 10 years ago, and that sweatshirt is in his bedroom upstairs?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, now we'll let him wear it.
Yeah, now he can wear it.
Wear it outside, everywhere he wants.
So a lot of things in getting on that subject of child safety, and if we can talk about that. That might be our next topic for next week, whatever the case may be. But when you're traveling in the car with kids, everybody wants to put their kid's name on the back of their car with the stupid little figurines. I say stupid. I'm sorry if you
What
like
about
them,
the zombie version?
Yeah, the zombie version, whatever. But don't have your kid's name on your vehicle.
Right.
That is such a horrible idea.
Yep.
To have your kid's name on your vehicle.
Yep.
But we'll get into that at a later topic, later time for kids' safety.
Right.
Back to traveling with kids. Another great thing is collecting things.
Right.
Have your kid collect something along the trip. If you're going to the ocean, have them collect seashells. What I wanted to do, and what we still do, is anytime we go to a different beach, I want to get a little thing of sand.
Yeah.
That when my kid's with me, I want to get a little thing of sand. That way they can see the sand on the beach.
You get like the little almost pill bottles full of sand.
Yeah, the little vial.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I think that's something neat. That's something that they can collect. That's something that they'll cherish. Postcards. Throw some postcards out there. Every gas station from here to wherever has postcards in them.
Yep.
Grab a postcard.
Yeah.
Little trinkets, whatever the case may be. As adults, we collect shot glasses.
Yeah. Absolutely, we do.
Older people out there, I don't think anybody young anymore, but older people out there, they collect spoons.
Yep.
My grandma had a ton of those spoons.
Did she really?
Yeah, she had like a spoon carrier.
People have them like. Do you remember on Breaking Bad? That was one of the things that she stole in one of the first episodes. Was she went into somebody's house and she had all the spoons in the thing, and she took one of the spoons out of it.
Took one of the. I'm missing Nebraska. I need to pull that spoon.
Hey, Andrew.
Right.
But collecting different things, little trinkets, stuff like that.
Yep.
Hey, if you guys are listening out there, let us know what you suggest kids collect. What did you collect? What do your kids collect? Let's get some audience, some viewership involved in this.
I started doing keychain holders when I travel. I haven't done it in a long time.
Holders.
Well, not a keychain holder, but little keychains that say Tennessee or
Oh,
Michigan or whatever. And I did do those for a while, and that was pretty cool. T-shirts. We talked about that T-shirt subscription service a few weeks ago. You can also do T-shirts. Like I buy Amanda T-shirts in airports and stuff like that, and it's kind of cool, and it shows that you did stuff. Amanda had one time when we went to Denver, and then you, Amy, and Drew had Denver T-shirts on when you went to Meijer.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, "Hey, you guys from Denver?"
My friend Alex, she collects Harley Davidson shirts for her dad. Anytime she goes to a new state, she gets a Harley Davidson shirt for her dad.
I do those for Amanda's
we do
dad.
that for my dad. When we went to the Bahamas, we got him one. We were so excited that there was a Harley shop in the middle of the Bahamas. So
We used our debit card at the Bahamas. Like, it was great.
yeah, we bought him a sweet Bahamas Harley shirt, and he thought it was the coolest thing ever.
There's a million, like Hooters, Harley Davidson, Hard Rock Cafe. I don't know.
B-dubs.
Hard Rock's not really big anymore as it used to be.
It
But
used
yeah,
to be.
it used to be
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, I got a Hard Rock.
When we were kids, I feel like that
Nevada
was the
shirt on
thing.
and stuff. But yeah,
For sure.
so make sure that there's something that they have that they collect that they remember that stuff by.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one I think might hit Drew a little bit, and would like a little feedback on this. Is plan for older children as well.
Yes.
You know, so much of the time we always think about the younger kids and what would excite the younger kids, but we leave the older kids behind. And not necessarily leave them behind at home, but we leave them behind in the thoughts of, we've planned this trip around what would excite the younger kids, but not necessarily the older kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to plan for the ages, keep them interested and excited. One thing that I read and that I really thought was amazing was this family would go out and they had twins, and then they also had a male older sibling. And so the dad and the older sibling would separate from the wife and the twins one day during their trip, and the dad and the older sibling would go out and do something the older sibling wanted to do. So make sure that you're keeping them engaged.
Yeah. Andrew, do you feel that's a good thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was horrible.
It's a great response, I guess.
Hey, yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So we're there.
So when we go on vacation, do you like to do your own thing?
I like to do stuff with you guys, not just alone, in a sense.
All right.
So not necessarily being alone, though, Andrew, but wouldn't you like to think about things that, when you're on vacation with the family, that you would like to do?
Yep.
Like things that would excite you. Like maybe not things that were planned out by Andy and Amanda or your mom and her significant other and the kids, but things that you would like to do, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh,
Very good.
Thanks for your comeback.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah.
And then, like you
Amazing.
said, have fun and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
have fun and
but-
enjoy the trip.
But again, like you said, any comments, feedback, anything you guys have, suggestions, other ideas that you've read about, things that you've experienced, please let us know. Contact us at amanimedia.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Let us know those things. So, and then moving on from the kids segment,
I feel like I talked a lot during that. I
did.
apologize.
You did.
I got long.
We're probably getting a lot of negative feedback
Probably.
about your man. You had like diarrhea of the mouth, like you had diarrhea last week.
I apologize, folks. I talked a lot.
But that's no big deal, Ben. So what we're going to do, I have to talk into the mic. So what we're going to do,
Let's get this cheap beer.
what are we going to do?
What are we going to do? We're
So
gonna
you
taste some
have
beer.
the cheap beers, right?
We're going to taste some
So
beers.
one at a time, what we're going to do is taste cheap beers. So what happened is, what do we have tonight, Ben?
Busch Light.
Son of a gun. I brought that one out of my fridge. And I don't even know how that got in there.
We have the largest beer I've ever
Good Lord.
other than a 40-ounce. The 32-ounce Beast, as it's commonly known as, Milwaukee's Best Light.
Yes. I could not be more excited to try the Beast.
The big one, as it's self-labeled, 25-ounce Bud Ice.
Bud Ice. Hold on, we got scooted over. You may not be able to fit them all there.
The 25 fluid ounces of Natural Light.
Natty Light. And that's the big one, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
competition. Bud Ice and Natural Light.
Yeah.
Both saying they're
Hold
the
on,
big
are they
one.
the same height? The
They're
Natural Light looks a little shorter.
It does. Somebody
Yeah.
got
looks
cheated
taller.
a quarter of a centimeter.
Uh-oh.
And then the blue ribbon.
Blue ribbon.
The blue ribbon.
Why is it the blue ribbon, by the way?
PBR.
Because it says, for a reason, the most awarded American lager in history is on our table. And it's shorter than everything else.
Other than the Busch Light.
Because it says it's the most awarded American lager in history.
So just
We're going to put it back up there on the display case.
if anybody wants to stop by and drink the rest of
Finish
these,
these off.
feel
That would
free.
be appreciated.
Boy, I tell you, that smells terrible. And that's not my cup of tea, but it's
So I do have to say, first off, it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
I would agree. I would agree.
I would assume there's some kind of chaser needed on a regular basis with this.
Somebody
like
has
you do
to-
a PBR and a shot. Isn't that like a thing at bars? Dave, didn't we see that somewhere once?
You get a PBR
Where you
and
could
a
buy a
shot?
PBR and a shot, like in one purchase.
I
It was
think-
like a buy one get one type thing. You buy a PBR, you get a shot.
I
I think you prize $30,000 in cash prizes for the winner of who can get their art, who has the best art. So
Wow.
Can and digital media.
6 winners
amazing.
total. There's 2 categories, and you can go to their website to enter. So it looks pretty cool.
Very cool.
So
That's
Natural
awesome.
Light.
Holy cow! I've had Natty Light before.
I
It's
had
not
to.
bad.
This is actually my old float trip beer.
This isn't bad. I have a neighbor that's all he drinks is Natty Light.
Well, tell him to come down here and finish this 25 fluid ounces because we probably poured
He
2
would
ounces
be
out of
up for it. Natty Light.
it. Look how you can almost see through that.
It's almost clear.
yeah,
How did they do that?
I think
Did they release non-hops into it?
I have no idea. I've seen water that's darker than that. I
You
won't
know
get
what
into
it
Flint,
almost looks
Michigan,
like?
but
A ginger beer.
it does almost look like a ginger beer. You're right.
Yeah. Well,
Plus-
of course I'm right.
Hey,
Cheers.
just so you guys know, in 2008, Natural Light shocked the world, taking bronze at the World Beer Cup for
What?
American-style light lager.
That's like 10 years ago, babe.
They also, in 2011, became the first beer in space.
Yeah, but all you had to do was like tape one to the space shuttle. Like that's not that. The story. There's a story.
There's a story of the space or the story of Natural Light.
Making Natty Light.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I could drink that.
Not too
So,
bad.
like I said, that was my old school float trip beer. I used to drink that
All
on
right.
float trips just because you drink a lot more and
I got that.
yeah.
Today we were at the river with some folks or whatever, and a couple of them had Natty Light, and I was pretty
Yeah.
impressed. I drink Bud Light, 30-pack, C&H, $17.99.
I don't know if it's still $17.99. We probably shouldn't plug that because I have no idea if it's still.
It's
that.
inexpensive.
It is
it's
inexpensive.
$20 or under usually.
I did see though that they're running a special, and I don't know if they still have it, but
Yep.
they running a summer beer, a summer brew, like a 15-pack for $10.99 or something like that.
Oh, that summer shanty, lemon shandy.
the
But
lemon shandy.
look, that's a great price. The lemon shandy, though, it sounds
I
like
like
good.
it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I like it.
It's
All right.
really good. We just drank it for a really long time.
No, you're talking about summer.
Yeah.
She's
Summer
talking about
shandy,
lime
and then there's
summer
lemon shandy
Yeah.
by Shock Top. And we didn't like the lemon shandy by Shock Top all that much.
That's true, but the grapefruit is my favorite. The Shock Top grapefruit
Correct.
is my favorite beer.
The Ruby
Besides
Fresh.
Rubeus. Yeah.
Did Russell finish that, by the way? Because I thought I
No.
saw that he was
Right,
a pretty
Bolson
big
was
deal.
a big deal. Yeah.
And it was awful. And then I started drinking Guinness a long time later. I can't drink that now because it's like
It's
it's
too
like a
thick.
meal in a can.
Yeah, it's too thick.
It's horrible. But I used to drink Molson Ice all the time. And by the way, what does this say? It is 5.5% alcohol by volume. Is that big? Is that a big deal?
Well, normal beer is 3.2, so
that's a big deal.
Natty's 4.2, so yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And it's 25 full ounces.
Full ounces.
Full, not half ounces.
Well, let's give Bud Ice a try, shall we?
God, I haven't drank anything like this in... Excuse me.
I expect that. During this podcast, I expect that.
It's better if you take it all in at once.
Yeah, it's not good if you take sips.
It's not that bad. Like, it's not horrible, right? Like, if I was a gentleman on a budget, so far, I would probably choose the Bud Ice.
Really? Is it because of the ABV, or is it because of the $9.50?
Is Milwaukee's Best Light aspires to be the best choice to share because it believes that the best times are spent kicking back. Milwaukee's Best Light features premium taste without the premium price.
Well, I get the premium price side, but the taste is not up to standard.
No, I did. That's the first one I did.
But I drank it.
You took that like a shot.
And they sell it at B&H.
They sell that at B&H.
pack.
Yeah, they sell it in a 6-pack too. 6-pack bottles. Yeah,
you should have gotten it.
I should have.
Because Don Morris Jr. on Life PD was like, "Natty Daddy, baby."
I saw
like, that sounds awful.
I saw it.
First off, you're almost on copyright infringement with Natty Light.
Right.
But
it's the same distributor, same brewer, so I mean you're not really copyright infringement, but yeah. That
doesn't really taste like anything.
I'm gonna, you know what?
You gotta like clean your palate.
Mm-hmm. I just saw that Busch does a Busch Ice.
Shut up.
Maybe that's what we should have done. Just like ice.
Busch Ice is 5.9%.
Ooh, hey,
should we just do the battle of the ices?
The battle of the ISIS?
Ices.
ISIS.
And not ISIS. I mean...
I was going to say, we're already battling ISIS.
Busch Light is 4.1.
I gotta say, those pictures... What's Busch NA?
Non-alcoholic.
Ew, who the hell would drink that? It has alcohol in it. What did it have, 0.4?
Yeah.
I like that they put there's protein. We need to get ourselves some Busch Ice.
There's a gram of protein in that.
Yeah, right? You have a frog in your throat?
Yeah, I do. It's called... Make sure you subscribe.
Even if it's not tonight, if you watch on demand, we also appreciate that. And like you said, Drew, what's the whole statement that you said last week? What do we got to do?
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter.
I don't know if Amanda put that up this week or not.
You're just subscribe to nothing right now.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Bod Podcast, and listen to us on iTunes and Google Play.
And any other providers that podcasts are carried.
Yeah. Alexa's live now.
So I did see, and I got a message from somebody that we are lagging a little bit and pausing.
Tonight?
Yeah, and pausing on YouTube a little bit. However,
damn it.
Maybe next week's Get Off Your Ass segment needs to be Bay's ET.
Well, you said you know the guy.
Chris Bay, get off your ass!
Yeah, you need to get a hold of Chris Bay.
I will.
Okay. I'm going to call them again and have another
45-minute conversation.
That'll get nothing
same
done.
Conversation that you had last
And
night.
we're even broadcasting at 480p today, which is less than a meg bandwidth. And if it's pausing and lagging, then...
It's terrible.
It's fucking awful.
It pisses me off.
Yeah. Anyway.
Next week...
You don't want to hear us bitch about the shitty internet.
I am fucking you up.
Oh, is that the hot sauce thing?
Hot sauce.
But we're not doing that hot chip challenge.
No.
Fuck that, do it.
I will do. The hot nut challenge?
Right.
Yeah. We're going to do that.